part is the repercussions. Well-intended policy by many Americans that go over there and think it's necessary for us to be the policemen of the world. But even Bhutto, before she went back in, accused the United States of undermining Pakistan because she said it was a bad idea propping up a military dictator. Musharraf was a dictator that overthrew an elected government. And she said this will incite the Al-Qaeda, this will incite the radicals. She was speaking from her viewpoint, and yet what did we do? We softened our stand and our support for Musharraf. We shifted over to supporting Bhutto, and we were ushering her back into power into that country. A lot of resentment, it's a lot of mess. But that isn't our job to figure out those messes. It's their job. It's up to the Pakistanis to decide who they want to run their government. Sometimes they'll get a good one, sometimes they'll get a bad leader. But the job we have as a country, and the job the president ought to have, is try to get along with these people, talk to them, and work it out, but not to tell them what to do, and not to think that our CIA can put into power certain individuals around the world. It leads to nothing but trouble, and the sooner we change our overall foreign policy, the better it will be for us in this country. After 9/11, it was said that this gave us an opportunity to go after Iraq. The plans had been in place for a good many years, matter of fact, more than a decade, to go in and have regime change in Iraq. And yet 9/11 had nothing to do with it. And there was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And there were no weapons of mass destruction, but the hype built into the media and through the politicians and drumbeats of war said that we have to go to war. And then the worst part of all that is we went to war under the wrong set of circumstances. Why don't we as a nation demand that we look to the Constitution and never go to war unless it's declared by the people through their members of Congress? They say that if we don't stay there, things will be chaotic. They're pretty chaotic, and we know it, and it's costing a lot of lives, ours and theirs, and yet who says it'll be chaos if we leave? You know, it's those same group of people who said that when we go in there, it will be a cakewalk, and there won't be a problem, and they will welcome us with open arms, and that everything will be paid for by the oil. You know, what happened, everybody knows what happened. It didn't quite go that way. But those same individuals are telling us if we leave, there's going to be chaos, and we're supposed to believe them and keep our troops there. That is what happened in the 60s when I was in the Air Force. I was in there for 5 years, and they kept saying, you know, if we ever leave Vietnam, you know, it'll be a disaster. There'll be radical communists. Communism will spread. There'll be a domino theory. It didn't happen that way. I mean, they became capitalistic. What has been achieved with Vietnam in these later years after we left could not be achieved with war. It was achieved in peace because we did what the founders advised. We started talking to the Vietnamese. We started trading with them. We started traveling back and forth, and now we invest over there and their president comes over here. And what about China? You think China became more communistic after we started talking to them? No, they got a whiff of capitalism. Now they're our banker. So, if we want a strong nation, if we want a strong economy, if we want a strong dollar, we don't allow the Chinese to become our banker and that they own us, because we today can't even fight this war without borrowing money from the Chinese. We have to borrow $800 billion a year from foreigners, a lot coming from East Asia, from Japan and China, and also Saudi Arabia. I mean, we don't have enough money. We have to pay, even on our national debt, $1.4 billion every day just for the interest. Used to be said, oh, we pay that to ourselves. That's not true. We pay that to a lot of foreigners, and we pay it to our Federal Reserve System, and they don't deserve it either.
Hell no.